When should a man pay your bills?
First name Tokyo, last name Drift.
That's his legal name, by the way. Just for the record.
I changed it.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to the Purple Pill with your host, myself, Lady J. And the good old...
I'm Tokyo.
Drift, that is.
Tokyo Drift.
Okay, anyways.
First name Tokyo, last name Drift.
That's his legal name, by the way. Just for the record.
I changed it.
He was born that way.
Lord help us.
Okay, I'm done. We're just going to do this real quick. Okay, so on to the topic of the day. Or what is it? The question of the day.
This will be interesting.
When should a man pay your bills?
I wish we could do the little cutout of Destiny's Child. Just that excerpt of the music video. You know.
Okay.
Can you pay my bills? No. Can you pay my telephone bills? No. Can you pay my automobile bills? If you did, then maybe we could chill. I don't think you do.
Not for
So
all
you and me are through.
Bye, Felicia.
Should a man ever pay your bills?
You know, it's a tough topic. It really is. Because there are men that want to do the right thing. Okay. They want to be providers. They want to essentially fulfill or feel needed and fulfill that role. But there's also levels to this, because at what point are you paying a bill as a partner versus being a simp? For me, the angle or the level of where it's okay, I would say, is where time has been invested. Physical investment from the female, for sure. Over time, you can begin to see that happening, I would say, without...
I disagree.
Fair. Where you see it to be more of a common circumstance as far as bill pay.
I don't think time matters. If y'all don't live together, that man, and really if you're not married, but if y'all don't live together, that man is not obligated to pay your bills. Like women will act like, oh, if you don't pay my bills, whatever. No. Now don't get me wrong. If he wants to, or if she needs help with something, that's totally different. Okay. Especially that's where time comes in, right? Time comes in. Let's say, okay, y'all two, right? Mm-hmm. So y'all two are dating. Y'all been dating for a while, right? And y'all have been. She has a hard time with the bill right now. And you say, you know what, baby, I got it. That's different.
Correct.
Okay?
And that's what I'm saying.
And that's not you paying bills.
No.
That is you paying a bill because you're helping your girl out. That's something totally, I think, is totally different.
Okay, so
you're doing that without expecting anything in return.
Correct.
Because you have that time. You have the trust.
Mm-hmm.
You have the, y'all have a mutual beneficiary relationship going.
Right.
All that stuff. So that is something a little bit different, I think. But paying your bills, you have women who literally will be like, okay, if you don't pay my bills, like he has to pay my car note. He has to pay it. Y'all don't live together.
On an obligatory basis, yeah.
Yeah, if y'all don't live together,
No, yeah.
he's not obligated. Now, we live in where inflation is like 20, 30, 100%. Okay? So I get that we live in pretty much a two-income society.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? And so because of that, even when you live together, there might be some compromising where the man is not paying all of the bills. But and that's going to be each relationship on their own. I don't believe in paying bills like that. As a woman, I never have. And the only time I'm paying bills is when I'm single. If I'm not single and we're married, you're paying the bills.
Of course.
Now, if we keep two separate accounts, which I would love to have one account, then okay, maybe I'm going to just go to the store and buy groceries, and then I'll cook and whatever. But all the bills in the house, I'm not maintaining them and I'm not paying them.
Right.
And I'm not putting money in one account. For us to do that, the money would have to filter through an account, and then we have allowances.
I think that's smart. I've never been a joint account fan.
Bless you.
Thank you. I think it complicates things. And it really, when you get logical in a relationship,
Bless you.
thank you.
I know you're not allergic to cats.
No, it's the mustache. It's not tamed right now.
Okay.
I've been dealing with it all day. So, when you're not, when you do the joint bank account and you get logical in a relationship, you can lose the female's interest because she's not meant to operate in a logical narrative. You must still keep that lightheartedness. You must still keep that adventure, that fun, that sizzle. It's just not a good place to be. And then, of course, if you do have to detach.
I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand what you mean when you're like,
So-
you have to be logical, but you have to be fun and lighthearted.
So
I'm
when you
confused
when you
on what that
start
has to do with paying bills.
when you start paying bills,
Okay.
joint account. My apologies. When you go joint account, now you're being more detail oriented on what's going out and what's coming in, right? You're having those conversations that to me begin to damper the relationships.
Do you know the top
Sizzle.
3 reasons for divorce?
Money is one of the big ones.
Yeah. Finance, fucking, and fighting. The 3 F's.
Correct.
Fighting is really communication, but I'm going with F's.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
So when you
and what do they fight over?
typically money.
Typically money, you're right, and women withholding for the most part. Now, again, I'm speaking in marriages because I do believe in marriages.
Fair. Now let's talk about that withholding.
So,
Even in the withholding, that starts from small things that the man doesn't notice is happening that build up over time that turn into, and I just saw a breakdown today, literally, so it's kind of funny we're talking about it, but that small thing that the woman wants that she doesn't say because she's not a directive communicating person turns into 4 different small nitpicking situations that built up from that one, and then at that point she's made up in her mind she's no longer attracted. So when you start it off, when you set yourself up for failure by having, say, a joint bank account, even if you're married and you're just, you're tax focused, whatever, at the end of the day, to me, if the man is making the income, there's no need to do a joint bank account.
wait, if he's making the income, why not? Then I'm not making any income.
Here's the thing.
So why am I not joint on that account? Why do I not have access to that money?
Okay, you can have, what I mean by is when they put their money together. That's what I mean by joint bank account.
Oh.
When they pull
Joint
their
bank
money
account means 2 people have
together.
access to it.
Okay, no, I'm talking about when they put their money together. So if he's making all the money and you can, take the credit card and go whatever, boom, 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 no big deal. You can use his credit card.
Yeah.
Right. Again, to me, being a guy that doesn't trust on that level, I'm not going to put your name on it, but I'll give you the credit card to use. Like, I don't know. Maybe not from a marriage standpoint, but at least from a relational standpoint. If you're in that relationship.
Well, again, I think a problem that we have today, so they always want to talk about divorce is at a higher rate than ever, blah, 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 blah. But the fact is that more people, so here's some weird statistics around divorce and long-term relationships, okay? In Kansas, if you live together for 5 years, that's common law marriage.
I didn't know they had one.
Yeah, they do. Common law. So if, let's say me and you are married, we live together for 5 years, I can be on your health insurance without being legally married. I also can get up and leave you the next day, or I can also go to court and file for half of everything. So I still can have all the benefits, all the negative benefits as a divorce in a marriage, while still getting all the benefits. But then there's certain things that you may or may not qualify for, and I don't fully know, because I know some of the states vary, but like there's a lot of things, like people always think, okay, well, now you would really have to have a medical power of attorney. You'd have to do all this stuff because, okay, let's say you two just live together for 5 years. Excuse me. In Missouri, we don't have common law marriage, so it doesn't matter. So you don't get those benefits.
Missouri's is 7.
No, 7 you can file for alimony. They don't have common law marriage.
Oh, they don't.
After being married for 7 years, you don't really qualify for alimony unless there was a prenup or you guys actually agree on it until you've been married for 7 years.
Nice.
I know, because we talked about this in my last divorce, and it's 7 years for alimony.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't trying to get alimony because I'm not that grimy, but nonetheless, so you would need like medical power of attorneys because your next of kin is the one. And even if you have her listed, if she's not family, she won't have the say. Your family can come in and take over. And there's all these other kind of like small legalities that you don't realize that you have when you're married versus dating or living together or whatever. So even if you look outside of your religious beliefs or the way that I believe that we're created to be, then even still there's a lot of benefits to actually being married versus not. Tax standpoint, now I'm the one getting off topic. I never get off topic. I always stay on topic. Oh. I'm so sharp. No, I'm not.
Lord.
So when you look at paying bills, right? Who's paying the bills? Mm-hmm. You're looking at the reason why is it the men pay the bills? Well, because for the longest time you had women who couldn't work. There weren't actual jobs for women to have. Then you look at it just wasn't common for women to work, right? So even still, don't get me wrong, like even in the Bible you have women that worked. To an extent, you have where it talks about a virtuous woman and she made garments and she sold garments and stuff like that. So there's still things that you had that women could do, but in general, it's like, okay, so I'm sewing and making garments. I'm selling that. I might sell some food that I helped. I might be the one to sell the food while my husband and kids are out there harvesting it, or whatever the case is. It still wasn't like your job. You're not going to be a blacksmith or a taxman or a congressman or like really any job. You basically, it'd be a side hustle, right? Correct. For what we would consider a side hustle now, that's the jobs that women had, right? And even you look at the Wild West, what jobs did women have? Well, women had the teachers. It's very womanly. Bakery, maybe. She might sell the baked goods or something like that. Housekeeper, yeah, for your richer people, she would clean the houses. So there's always been women that have worked throughout history. So I'm not saying women did not work, but it wasn't common for women to work, and it was the poorer women who had to work, of course. So it wasn't like you were out here making money and then I'm going to work. And the fact is that up until 60s, right, when they started really pushing the narrative to split the family, when it was very common for women to be stay-at-home wives. And so with that, you look at, okay, the man pays because the woman can't have a legit income for a lot of different cases. Up until the 70s, women couldn't even have bank accounts unless they were married, or they had like a man, their dad, they couldn't have their own bank account. And so you look at stuff like that. Well, of course the man's going to pay the bills. So traditionally, the man has always paid the bills. It's very rare that a woman would even touch that. So then you look at, okay, tradition versus modern, right? Now we move forward now. Can tradition and modern live together with a man paying bills? That's another question to go into. So at what point does a man pay a woman's bills? Because you kind of talked, you said, yeah, he after time, whatever, and then
I mean, I would say 2 years, right? And now here's the thing. What you threw in there was something that completely divided the whole entire question, which was from an obligatory standpoint or from a voluntary standpoint. From an obligatory standpoint will be a different answer than a voluntary standpoint.
Well, I use the term should, and should means obligation or duty.
So in that case,
let's go with that. Let's go with the legalistic definition.
Okay, Miss Legality.
Topic.
So should. Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, maybe if you're married.
If you're married.
Yeah, because.
What if you live together because people don't believe in marriage?
I mean.
Now I agree, because I don't want to live with anybody unless I'm married. Okay, that's me. So I agree with what you're saying.
Here's my question.
But you also don't believe in the same exact things that I do.
Fair, yeah. So, well, here's the thing: if they're living together, right? My question is, what bills does a female have? Right? Like, what bills are we talking? Because if the guy's a guy, if the man's a man's a man, he's got his own place, right? And she came to live with him, right? So then, I mean, outside of her,
they bought a house together.
See, now you're doing too much. If you're not married, you should not be buying a house together. That's ridiculous.
I did it, and you know what? I got the house in the divorce.
So
hold on, we bought it together though, and then we got married.
That's
right
different.
After.
See,
we
so
did. So
separate.
It was, and then I didn't want to keep the house, but I also didn't want to move, so I got stuck with the house. That's actually what happened. I got stuck with the house. I'm not like, give me the house, but I got stuck with it, and he tried to sell it up from under me, and they was like, sir, you can't do this, and he was like, oh. Whoops. Yeah.
See, no, in that case, yeah, I would say My thing is, okay, what bills does she have? I'm assuming cell phone bill, maybe a car payment, and her own insurance, right? So yeah, she can take care of that herself because she's still working, right? She's not living at home with you. There's no kids. I'm assuming it's just a young couple, right?
Yeah.
Just keep it on topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that still doesn't have to pay her bills, because he's keeping the lights on, he's keeping the Wi-Fi going, he's making sure nobody's knocking on the door to evict him, right? So
That's fair.
there's nothing for him to pay for her, because at that point now you're doing too much. Because
They would get a cheaper quote if he paid for insurance, though. They'd have a cheaper insurance if he just paid for it, though.
well,
I'm just saying,
for
like,
a
if you-
multi-car
yeah.
discount, fair. But if he's a man's man, he's got more than one car. So
You also,
I mean,
you also could say you're married at that point.
ooh, I don't know about that, because now we're talking about fraud and all that stuff. I don't know about that. I don't know.
How would they know?
I mean, well, don't you
How
have to?
would they know?
So you could just show up and just say you're married and call it a day. You don't they don't ask for nothing?
Yes.
Because I've never.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I would know, but I do know. The answer is yes.
Huh.
You can have different names and be married as long as you live at the same address.
That is a thing,
That's what
which
they would-
is
That's what they would look at if
Shame
you
on
live
a
at the
man.
same address. And if the car's going to be the same address, you just still are married, right? I mean, don't listen to me, though, because
this is not financial advice.
this is not financial advice or legal advice
Oh,
for that matter.
Yeah,
So,
that's funny.
I mean, I'm just saying. But no, I agree. And even if we're in like a society where the woman has to work, I think that the man is still responsible for the overall bills, your house bills to keep everything on and running. Unless he cannot do it, on his own. But at the same time, you have to think about it like this too. Like, let's say we're married and, I pay for my car notes, my phone bill, although I would think we would be on a family plan at that point if we're married, but that's just me.
Fair.
Maybe I do pay the phone bill. Maybe I do pay the phone bill and I pay the car note and the groceries, and he pays all the utilities, the lights, the house, the insurance, whatever. Okay, cool. And then, but also that means that let's say he's tight with that. I would have to put money, and this is what I believe, into like a joint savings for us, because he can't save nothing because he's paying all the bills. And I'm saying like in a more modern society for what's realistic for majority of homes. Okay. Because when you look at the median price, I think the median wage is like $45,000 a year in the nation.
Wow.
The median is still maybe 50. It might be in the 50s now, but it's not more than 57,000 a year.
Yeah.
For the median wage.
Not after taxes.
So when you're looking at that, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
So we say not after, definitely not after.
Yeah.
Like after, ooh, you just got. So when you look at something like that, why is it fair that she gets to save and she gets to do this when we're married and we're a partnership and I'm your helpmeet, but I'm gonna keep it all for me? Like, that's not fair.
It's not.
So
but there are those that think that way.
I mean, there are plenty of women who think that way, but I think that I don't think that's that's not how it should be.
No, absolutely not.
100%. So at that point, then we have, but that's where we're budgeting both our monies. Like if we are keeping separate accounts, then we're budgeting both our monies. We're doing, whatever checks and balances. We know what's going on. We're being very communicative. That's not what happens in society today. People don't even share their financial information, let alone their bank accounts. So
see, and that's the issue. I mean, you hit it right there. There's no communication in modern times, and I don't understand that, because it goes back to, I don't know, a couple weeks ago we were talking and something about like how there's so much disconnect and so many lonely people, but nobody's willing to reach out and say, hey, we're both lonely, can we make something work? Instead it's, oh, I'm good all by myself, but yet you're crying on your pillow at nighttime with your dog, your Fido.
then
being your,
I'm not saying that I've never been lonely, right? I'm single. In general, I'm single by choice. I wonder if someone could change my situation or not, but in general, like there's things that are missing that I'm not going to be with somebody for. They don't have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
They're not good with money. They're,
But I
you
mean,
know.
but I can say at least from our friendship, relationship,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that you communicate, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying
Except for
is
feelings. Like if I really have feelings, it's very hard for me to communicate those. But
interesting.
in general, I do communicate like, finance, any other
Huh.
relationship, majority of relationship stuff. I try to communicate if there's a problem. If something makes me very emotional, very upset. So anger used to be like my go-to. I don't seem like an angry person to you, right? Oh, if only you knew me back then. So it's not, but because of that, I can get angry, and then I will turn to be I will seem like I'm very sad. I will like cry, but it's not because I'm necessarily as sad as you think that I am. It's because I don't know how to express this, and now it's like, am I angry? Am I upset? But like I know I'm upset, but like it's very weird because I didn't grow up crying. Like any of my childhood friends can tell you, like I wasn't much of a crier growing up, but now as like an adult, I am. But like my dad was always like, it's weakness, you can't cry, blah 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 blah. So it was like a very angry. He was very angry. I had to relearn love. It was like a whole thing, I had to unlearn everything that I thought I knew. So yeah. So with that, communication
Yeah.
in general, I try to do my best. But if I'm upset, I'm not good at
Interesting.
communicating. I mean, that's fair. And even when I get mad, like I can be emotional like a woman, right? And you can't understand my emotions. But there's a logical reason why I'm upset. Like it makes sense. And I can
Usually
explain
is.
to you, like I can actually go out and say, no, it's because, but not while I'm upset. If I'm upset,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
I can't tell you the reason why because it's too hard.
and that's where, as you know, as a man, we are that emotional pillar, right? For you to crash into, and not trying to solve the problem, but it's simply allowing you to exist in that emotional state. And then when you're ready, you can communicate properly, and like, so what was that about, right?
Eventually I can
Yeah.
get there, but it does take a moment. And what it also takes is me going to like this dark place in me and bringing it back up. And there's things you just don't tell people. Like you don't be like, oh yeah, this horrible thing happened to me once upon a time, so of course I'm gonna act this way, because you know that you act a certain way because of what happened, but then you don't know until you're in that moment that, okay, well, yeah, of course, so of course I'm gonna be this way because, and then it's your fault because you didn't know
Naturally.
something that I didn't tell you.
Yep. Woman logic, guys.
because that makes sense, right? So you have that aspect. So anyways, let's
Yes.
circle back to men. So I think you said 2 years, but I think we're mostly in agreement. A man should pay bills if you live together, if you make that commitment to live together.
Not that he should pay bills. My I guess I turned it to a question, which was, what bills are we talking about? Because if the man has his
Okay.
own place, he's already paying all the bills that matter. So Wi-Fi's on,
What if
utilities
he's
are paid.
struggling?
Then, well, then that's a nuanced situation.
Then
So
should she not live with him, or should she live with him because he's struggling?
well, yeah, I would say that she shouldn't.
Okay.
Because at that point, if a woman comes into the man's world, right, to help elevate it, right, essentially.
Right.
So if his world is crumbling, then it's not her time yet. He because a man naturally will focus his attention towards a woman to incorporate her and everything else, right? Like, hey, let's treat you to lunch or something. If he can't do that, right, or if he wants to do that, but he's really needing to kind of save that $20 for gas so that he can get to work the next day, or
Okay, well, I think that's more like dating. Like, I don't think a man should date if he can't afford to date.
yeah,
And I don't think that he's ready for marriage or relationship if he's not in a position to afford it. Again, I use the word afford. Now, date your caliber of woman, okay? Because some women are expecting 5-star restaurants off the gate. I think that coffee is a great first date.
same.
You don't know if you even like the person.
Correct.
You've
Why
been talking
invest?
for 2 weeks. Y'all just met off Hinge or Tinder or whatever, Bumble, whatever you got going on these days. Y'all just met off of something.
Right.
And y'all going out for coffee or whatever. Like, I need to know. First of all, I need to know if you catfish me.
Correct.
Okay, so first of all,
need to know
does
if
your
you're real.
body match your face? Okay, so first of all, is there that? And then second of all, Like, can I even carry on a real conversation? Because we only been texting. I don't
Right.
even know what you sound like because people don't talk on the phone no more. So I don't even know what you sound like. So now I have to say, okay, can you carry on a conversation? Can we actually do this? Okay, cool. Coffee. And coffee, worst case scenario, if you do pay, you're out $20 maybe for 2 coffees and a scone, maybe 30.
Scone.
Okay. I don't know what you get at a coffee shop. Like,
Yeah, you're right though. No,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and then go with a local coffee shop.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's even better.
Screws.
A lot of local coffee shops have games too, so you can play
Yeah,
board games.
correct.
Where you get to know each other, you know, a little bit, and they even have like the little question games too, so you guys can do that. So I'm 100% for that. So if you're struggling like when y'all met, but let's say he was working 2 jobs. And now he's working one. He is kind of struggling, but y'all have already been together for a year. I'm not saying leave your man.
No,
and then what if he wants you to live with him then?
That's an interesting place
so, So at that point, but then he'll be paying all the bills. I think that goes back to, you said what bills, right? So I said, well, if you need the 2 incomes, then he pays, lights, water, electric, whatever. And then she pays, for the gas, for whatever. In general, I think the man should basically always pay more bills.
Correct. Absolutely. And I, as you were saying that, I would say that if the woman offers to help out, if she's a good woman, and she offers to help out, it should be recognized as temporary. And it would be that man's duty as soon as possible to get back on his feet and take back over everything.
Yeah.
That would be my only thing. Other words, like I said before, it can be a detriment to the relationship over a long period of time, because it begins to weigh on her in a way that the freedom of financial spending goes away, and her girlfriend's got new nails, or there's maybe a new drink, or I discovered a new speakeasy in Kansas, and they've got really good mocktails. So I don't drink. So if she's wanting to have that experience with her girlfriends because she saw it on a TikTok or something, not being able to enjoy those moments because she's helping out, that will begin to weigh. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. If you live together, I say split the bills 50-50.
Hey.
Oh, wait, is that you, Aaron?
Thank you. 50-50.
See,
It's a
and
partnership.
I don't believe in 50-50 because more often when you actually look at the divorce rate and you look at how they do the bills, there's a higher divorce in the 50-50 category versus the man paying majority or all of the bills category.
Correct. Again, it goes back to, there are rare women out there that, have that belief. And I think that's awesome. But for the majority, it's going to weigh on them.
Right.
Because they're not.
And it could work. And then again, that's where it goes with like, you look at, so modern versus traditional, right?
Yeah.
Modern is the 50-50 mentality, right? That's your modern mentality, which says, okay, we do 50-50 for everything. But in reality, there is no such thing as 50-50. And I say this like, even still, so in every relationship I've been in, every marriage I've been in, he pays majority of the bills. I do majority of the housework. I even do some yard work. I enjoy doing the yard work, so it's not like a burden on me. Although now I work so much that somebody else has to do my yard, but it's very serene. It's very nice. I do enjoy it. I can't like landscape or anything, but I can make green grass grow with,
Nice.
A ton of pesticides and stuff or whatever, pesticides.
Oh, no.
Weed and feed, whatever. I don't actually do that. Now I have like a natural yard right now, but
Okay.
I'm just saying like in general, like
how to do that.
I can make green grass, but I will kill every plant. Okay.
Okay.
Black thumb, but green grass. Okay. So anyways, back to this. So at the end of the day, I noticed that I'm still going to wind up doing majority of the housework. I'm still going to wind up doing majority of the cook. Unless I find somebody, maybe I do find someone who does love to cook. Okay. But now I have been where, I'll pay for the groceries. I've never been really where the man pays 100%. But in my marriages, he's paid majority of the bills, right? Like he's paid all the house bills. I pay the phone bill. We're on a phone plan. I pay the phone bill. I pay my car note. He pays his. He paid the insurance. Now, still, I'm telling you, you have a higher chance of success. And here I am not doing 50-50, right? But we already know legit reasons why I've been divorced before. But
very nuanced.
Yeah. And my stuff is not normal either.
No, it's not.
That's like, it's very, that's what makes
First off, you're female. And instead of going to Navy or Army, you chose the motherfucking Marines, man.
I did. You have to be the best.
So you're already just...
So already, yeah, you got to be crazy to do that. So I'm not gonna say I'm not a little crazy, but my crazy is more like wild than like. Yeah. I'm not a let's slash the tires kind of gal.
No, you're not tit for tat. Thank God.
No, I'm not. Yeah. I think that's too much energy.
No, you're
and
right.
if I have to think about it, I'll think my way back out of it, so it's fine. Like I'll think about it, but then I'll be like, what if this was me? So,
right. Okay.
So, but yeah, so the 50-50, and the thing is 50-50, so you have an account, and then, she has her money, you have your money. I think that in situations where the woman is making more money, that might help doing a 50-50.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing 50-50 where your joint account is your bill account and you're putting half of your money in there, I think that might be a way to not emasculate the man,
right?
In the sense where you can now show him and you can hold that really over his head,
right?
Depending on the situation, because if you talk about it all the time, whatever. But there are women who don't. As long as the bills are getting paid, they were already used to paying the bills. It's fine, and if they're okay with that, you have women who have been financially abused. Been with narcissists, so I understand things like that. So I'm not saying that what I'm saying is a one size fits all. There are definitely reasons. I mean, I had my second ex-husband, we had a joint savings and he took $20,000. All of the joint savings. I actually made it negative. So there was like $21,000 because it was like over $1,000 negative. Now, majority of that he put in there, I put in there too. It was our savings account. We started it once we got married. So, for him to do that was very, that was not right. Like, that's our money. And so, there is things, there's always and even with that happening, I would still do it again. But I think that had to do with, communication. There was some other issues that I didn't know that existed. There was a gambling problem. There was a drinking problem that came because of the gambling problem. That's when he tried to kill me. And so, you look at this and you're like, okay, so there were definitely situations that happened beforehand. And maybe I could have been better on forcing him to get help, because I kind of felt like I couldn't force him to get help. Because I'm like, if I force you, you're not really going to do it.
Right.
So I didn't really know. But so I'm not saying it's a one size fits all. And I'm not saying you have to have a joint account and you have to, because there are situations where it does work doing 50-50 also. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. And there are situations where it doesn't work, where the man pays for everything. We've seen situations, they make movies about situations like that, where he takes everything and she has nothing. I watched a video today where this girl was crying, and it was like she didn't save any money and now she's homeless. But she said, well, my husband won't take me back. So it makes me wonder, what did she do? To be honest, I didn't want to be the one, because everyone's like, oh, girl, woman empowerment. But I'm like, what did you do that your husband didn't want to take you back?
Right.
And she said, well, he kicked me out the house when I wasn't even yelling at him. So that tells me that she's probably abusive to him. Just from her saying that without her saying much. She's like, yeah, we're getting divorced, but my family's homeless. And he said they could live there. And I said no, because he won't take me back. So he's not taking you back. So you're making him try to sound bad, but there's something you're not saying there.
100%.
So it's like, they're talking because he paid for stuff and then she had money and didn't save it. So that's another thing. Like I said, women, keep your coffee can. I am pro coffee can at the same time of, allowances or whatever.
Next time we do this, we got to bring a coffee can. I'm going to bring a Folgers.
Bring a coffee can?
Just hold it up.
We'll have to go put some money in it. Keep your coffee can. I'm just saying, like, that's, you need to keep your coffee can. So at the end of the day, you think there is a point where a man should be obligated to pay bills. Not until they live together. And you're not.